Hello everyone, welcome to Mark's Day's Creative Differences, a monthly live stream where I talk to writer friends about those little things that make a big difference to their craft and careers, in the hope that we can give readers some insight to the creative process and writers and other creative folk some practical advice they can actually use. I'm Mark Stay, author, screenwriter and podcaster, and if you're joining us live, feel free to ask questions in the comments and take part in the conversation. Now, I appreciate we're recording this just at the tail end of a solar eclipse, which everyone's been outside and looking at, which is all very exciting. So, you saw it, didn't you, Em? Did you see it? Yeah. Seems to have been a bit of an underwhelming eclipse. At the risk of sounding like old man Simpson, I remember the 1999 eclipse, and I went down, and that was a proper total eclipse. And I was down in Southampton. I was a sales rep then for Headline Books, and I went down to Waterstones, Southampton, above bar, no longer there. But Jeanette and the team, they invited me up on the roof, and I can't remember if I had the solar glasses then, but it might have been overcast to the point where we could look at it through the clouds, and it was amazing. And on the drive home on the A31, I saw Crop Circle. There we go. Proper little Twilight Zone moment. But anyway, big thank you, as always, to Dominic Currie for his jingle. And now, let's meet our special guest. My guest is the award-winning author of The American Boyfriend, Heart of Glass, White Crane Strikes Overboard, and more. She writes gripping, page-turning fiction, and she's also a musician, an expert in interior design. She's trained in architecture, and she's back with a page-turning psychological thriller, In Safe Hands. It's only that Ivy Ngeow. Ivy! Hey, welcome to the Creative Differences podcast. How are you today?
Hi, Mark. I'm feeling great. Thanks so much for having me on your show.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. Now, let's get straight to it. In Safe Hands, your new book, absolutely brilliant. Psychological thriller. It kicks off with Genevieve and her son returning home to London to move in with her father. But Stella, his carer, is already embedded in the home. Tell us more about In Safe Hands.
In Safe Hands is about a penniless woman who returns from the high life and needs to get help from her father in London, who is wealthy and elderly. But her position has been usurped by his new caregiver, Stella.
And tell us more about what inspired this, because it's modern London, but there's something about it that feels kind of almost Dickensian. You've got poor characters, rich characters. You got the past coming back to haunt people. What inspired this to start with?
Thanks for mentioning that it's Dickensian, because I really think that Dickens is one of my first inspirations. He's one of my favorite authors, even now. I think all stories should be or are great expectations. And it's just so well constructed in terms of its pacing and its characters. I love stories where the baddie becomes good, but the good turn bad, and then they are rewarded, and then the baddies get bad luck, and then the goodies get bad luck after the baddies. And there's always a struggle. It never goes in a linear way. And so you think that the good should die young. That's the cliche. But maybe not. Maybe they die old. So I find that it's always unexpected. Like each time I watch a retelling or read a graphic novel of Dickens, something changes in me. My perception of what English should be.
That's interesting. I was reading something about that today, about the fact that the books that we read as children or as young adults, when we come back to them as older people, it's a completely different experience. And I found that. I mean, you're finding that with Dickens. Every time you go back, are you seeing it with a different sort of eye?
Yeah, I see with a different eye. And don't get me wrong, your listeners are thinking she only reads Dickens. That's absolutely not true. I've read hundreds of books, but coming back to Dickens, I think that what appeals to me is the fact that it's non-linear and it's fairly unexpected. Even when you think you're going to expect something, I mean, a good example is Oliver, isn't it? I mean, Oliver the musical and Oliver
Hmm.
Twist. Um, Many characters are going to come and go, and there's always a power struggle. Always, rich and poor, the good and the bad. So the struggles are what makes us turn the pages.
Yeah.
Because that's how he gets you to turn the pages, because you feel that what should happen, but then it doesn't.
Hmm. Now you mentioned there interweaving storylines. This has a, I believe this one
Mhm.
has a sort of dual storyline for this one.
Mm.
You've got an architect. You've got training in architecture, I believe. Does that influence the way that you write? Are you somebody who builds these things beforehand, who plots them out beforehand? How does that work for you?
I didn't realize this until very recently, that technicality is my friend. I love to geek out. I'm a geek, so I it's very writing is very much architectural for me, because it's just another project. To be honest, it's a project. You build from it, don't you? So it's intricate, it's constructed, it's layered, and we love to make everything work. Okay, not just the structure, because well, I'm not an engineer, so it's not the structure that has to work. It's how it's built from ideas, and how the ideas are layered. So my method has always been, a book is like a building. Uh, you know, we start with an idea, and at the end it becomes 3D because of the layering. And I love constructing the structure, followed by, you know, the electrics, the plumbing. I love to make sure that it all works. We don't know how it works, but like magic, the building works. We turn on the lights, we flush the loop. We don't even think about it. How did it happen? How did it work? How did we make central heating, come alive? But that's what books do to you. When you get transported
Yeah.
into a book or into a story, everything works, and you don't even question, oh, how did that happen? How did the character get into, like, that scenario? How did they get into a building or a room? So, to me, architecture runs parallel with writing. And sometimes it's organic, sometimes we need fine tuning, but it always starts off with an idea or more than one idea.
So once you've got the idea, to push the architectural metaphor a bit further, what are the foundations? What's the thing that you first turn to in order to start building this story house?
Oh, that's a really good question, because sometimes when we do when we work on a building project, sometimes we start with the foundations. So sometimes we need to know where every room is, but sometimes something already exists, like a ruin, something that you have to renovate. So you're going to it's much harder to renovate something than to build something from scratch. If I was doing
Yeah.
something from scratch, and this is something that I've only started doing for the American Boyfriend, I laid out the scenes. I lay out it out scene by scene. I divide it out,
Hmm.
and each scene is a room. So it's like a 40 room building, and each room has to do something. So the start,
Right.
where we enter the front door, what happens, where do we go next? Why do we want somebody to go there next? What's the room that's next to it?
That's
And
fantastic.
oh, thank you. Yeah, and I would love to pull people in, right? And
Yeah.
and it's the same as, like, in architecture, like in writing. There's no point decorating flourishes and being fiddly when it doesn't work. First of all, it's got to work. There's no point doing interior design if your toilet's in the wrong place. It's wrong. The rooms are in the wrong place. There is no point writing beautifully, because I think you're just ruining it, and the reader will put down the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do the characters come in this process? Because one of the things I just noticed this today on your social media is that you draw your characters. Tell us, where does that come in the process for you when you're putting together the story?
The characters come to me quite early on, because they're kind of undeveloped. It's like meeting somebody, just met somebody on the train, and you're staring at them. You notice, it's a part of observation. I mean, art is observation. It's what you see, right? It's not. What's that famous line by Degas? What it's not what you see, but what you make others see. Something like that. So,
Right,
I'm
right, right,
paraphrasing
right.
it. So I don't know the characters when I draw them. I think, okay, wearing glasses, or always has a huge black backpack, or what's in that backpack. It makes me curious. It makes me want to know them, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time with them. So this is a Cafe Nero cup that the boy is holding because he keeps
Right.
badgering his mom Genevieve. Um, so when I put them in scenario, so that's Sahil, and he's got the black backpack. So is
Brilliant.
he a student? Who is he?
Yeah.
So that's Genevieve. So she's got a shark vacuum cleaner.
Right.
Yeah, the glasses on a chain, and kind of a like quite severe sort of Ralph Lauren kind of jumper and skirt look, like woolen skirt, woolen jumper. So why is she so severe, and like is she like very is she very serious person, or is she very house proud, very clean? So these are questions that I raise myself when I
So
draw
when
my
you
characters.
when you're drawing Genevieve here, you know so little about her. You don't know anything about her. You're just kind of putting her in a situation.
Yeah, I put them in situations. That's why I say I put them in a room. I make them
Yeah.
poor, because if they're poor, that's the Dickensian
Yeah.
concept creeping back in. So if they're poor, then you think, what? Why are they poor? Where did they come from? Where do they live? What do they want? And I think it makes it really clearer to move scenes forward when I can see
Hmm.
them, when I see them clearly.
Now, what I love about this as well, Ivy, is you've actually published this as an illustrated companion. You've got the character art of In Safe Hands, and you can buy this on Amazon. Is that right?
Yeah,
Where can readers get this?
you can buy this on Amazon. Yeah, and I was actually giving them away at my book events. I would give them as gifts. I give them as gifts to readers, in prize draws. So I print them out limited edition. I literally just print 10 or 20, and I give them out as when they win a prize.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. What? So, have you done this with every book? Have you done the drawing thing with every book, or is it just for In Safe Hands?
I've done it for the American Boyfriend, but as cards, like character
Right.
cards that they
Right.
can exchange or collect for collectors. So they're done in the sort of that style, like character art style, like height, weight, likes, dislikes. I really had fun doing it, because you know how when they train you to create characters and write characters, wouldn't it be great if you already knew all that? So I just thought,
Right.
you know what, if I can see them and I know their height, their weight, and what they, where did they study, or what they hate eating, are they vegan or something annoying like that, and then it's like, um it makes you really excited, because you finally meeting somebody that you're going to know for like a year. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
So clearly you're a visual person. You need art. You need data to sort of draw on, and you're building this house in your sort of mental palace, if you like. So your
yeah.
mental mansion. So, has that process evolved? So if you go back to your first books, how does your process now compare to then? How has that evolved over time?
I've always written like organically. What's the word for it? Pantsing. I've always
Hmm.
been a pantser. Now I do both. I'm both a planner and a pantser, because ironically, the more experience I became in my career, in my day job, the more I really needed that structure to, like, as they say, crack on. You need some kind of, and I think that there's a very funny saying in architecture, that when you build your first house, you build it for your enemy. When you build your second house, you build it for your friend, and you build your third house for yourself, because you want to break your own mistakes, your own bad habits, So by the
Wow.
time you get to your third book, that you should be able to do all
You
three.
figured it out. Yes.
Yeah, you should. Technically, you should be able to. Otherwise, what have you been doing? So,
Why? I
yeah,
need to go back on that. Why does an architect build their first house for their enemy? And is this something we should consider when hiring an architect, especially if it's their first time?
you shouldn't. You probably shouldn't hire them. You should be like they'll. If it's their first time, you probably shouldn't hire them. They're probably like you're their enemy. So you're. And I really believe, like, as an architect, okay, as a writer, architect, well, a creative professional, okay, if you're a musician or whatever, I just really think you have to make the mistakes because the mistakes make you.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are all going
Yeah.
to screw up. So don't worry about that. That's a given. We are all going to screw up in our first project, whatever that project might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Failure is a great teacher, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. um, accountability, I know, is important to you as well. I read somewhere that I think you keep a spreadsheet tracking your word count, which is something that I do as well. So is that something
I learned also from you, because remember when you
Oh,
used to do the bestseller experiment,
yeah,
you
yeah,
used
yeah,
to do accountability. Like
yeah,
every
yeah,
day, people would, pipe up and say whatever it is that they did or not do.
yeah.
Just saying that you didn't do it is also accountability. And
Yes,
I just feel really reassured that everybody is not going to say, hey guys, I wrote 10,000 words today. Oh my God, this is so great. And then you're like, this is very boring. You write 10,000 words every day. And you think, um, well, how about I wrote 0 words for 10 days? And sometimes, when that happens, I write down that I wrote 0 words. But that's
hmm
okay because I showed up, right? It's very
yeah,
hard to show up
yeah,
and to
yeah,
admit that. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm okay with the accountability thing when I can keep I think I just need some kind of a reminder to get back to it. So
yeah.
I don't really see the number of words as something that I have to achieve.
Yes, yeah. I think
Yeah,
just knowing that it's something you need to show up to every day. And I must give all credit to my old co-presenter Mark DeVoe for that, because
that's
that
right. Yeah, the
accountability,
mark
that
and the
was that.
mark. Yes, mark and mark.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
very much his thing. He sort of because he used to go running, and he would never go running alone. He'd get someone to go running with him. So you
Mm,
you had someone showing up for you, for you every day. But yeah, it's something that's changed the way I write, and I try and write every day. But it's that
yeah.
accountability is so important. Uh, fantastic. Now, folks, when we invite authors onto Creative Differences, we
Mm.
ask them to fill in a little form. And Ivy, you put down that you were once mistaken for a VIP dignitary. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, yeah, this is very exciting for me because obviously I'm just a normal person where nothing happens. So last year, I was mistaken for a VIP uh, or some dignitary at Changi, flying back to London via Helsinki when I was on my book tour promoting In Safe Hands. And I was upgraded to business class with priority boarding and lounge access that had
Wow.
unlimited food and drink. Basically, I just went and ordered 5 things. Like I thought, okay, I wish I could just carry on eating, but I just couldn't. And there was a personal chef as well who was checking to see if I needed anything else. And I'm like, oh my God, I've just had like 5 things. I'm supposed to like keep going. And so I said no. And then there were all these journalists swarming, right? And they were queuing up to talk to me. But since I'm now like in a different world, I had to decline all interviews. And I think that one thing that we all don't know because we are not VIPs is when you are a VIP or some kind of dignitary, you don't ever get called by your name because they don't know what to call you. They can't
I,
call you Mr., Miss, Professor, Doctor. They they can't. It's like calling Madonna, hey, you can't say, hey, Lady Madonna, what the Beatles song. So they don't know how to address you. So I didn't know who I'm supposed to be.
Now, Ivy, are you sure it wasn't just Penguin laying on, a limo for you or anything like that? It wasn't just because, I mean, all authors who come on this show are VIPs to us, as far as we're concerned. But
Oh, yeah,
it wasn't.
I'm a VIP tonight. Yes, okay, I'm a VIP.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't it definitely wasn't your publisher doing this. It wasn't part of the tour.
I would have said that, but not one person bought or signed my book. I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready. I've got my Sharpie. I'm ready. Where? Okay. Where are the books? Okay. So, yeah. So I had to keep that under wraps until I arrived. I thought, no, if they kick me off the plane, then I'm not going to be even arriving in London. So I thought I'll just have to keep Sturm until I get there.
So you never figured out who it was?
I never figured out who it was because they can't refer to you by your name. They're just completely subservient and helpful. Like everybody was like, oh, that's something that happened. Like obviously being a VIP, everybody's really helpful to you, but you don't know why or what else you actually need. You don't need anything. You can't need anything. It's like you're stuffed to the gills.
That's brilliant. I still think it was your publisher, and the fact that there were no books there, that happens a lot with publisher events.
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, that would be typical, wouldn't it? That would be totally believable.
Yeah, VIP treatment, but no books. Yeah, right. We're gonna take a little break there, Ivy. I'm just gonna put you backstage for we're gonna have a little commercial break as such because I want to talk about the Green Room. Twice a month, I run live sessions on Zoom where you can ask me questions about the craft of writing, your work in progress, the business of publishing. The sessions are fun, informal, chatty. You can send me questions in advance. They're recorded live and saved on Ko-fi for exclusive access to Green Room members. Now, we just had a really great episode with best-selling author Paul Austin Ardoin, and we talked about pantsing and plotting and writing commercial fiction, the kind of really useful stuff that can make a big difference to a writer's career. Now, if you're a writer and you want to know more, get involved and join the Green Room. I'll just pop where have we got? There we go. I'll pop a little QR code up in the corner there as well, so you can find out more about it. I'm running it through Ko-fi. You can join by clicking on Green Room memberships, just £20 a month. No long-term commitment or anything like that. My goal is to be able to give supporters advice that will make a real difference to their writing and career. Because the way I see it, having worked in this industry as a salesperson, bookseller and author for over 30 years, I've made every mistake, so you don't have to. So yeah, pop along to Ko-fi there. Also, you can order my books. Yes, I got books and you can buy them from all good bookstores. Or if you want a signed and dedicated copy, you can come to the Woodville Village bookstore there. There's a little a little QR code up there in the corner. Now, just a quick update, because last time I mentioned the End of Magic audiobooks. Now, the narrator, Dan Kelly, I know he's recorded The End of Magic, and that's coming on the 22nd of September. And I know he started on The End of Dragons as well, which is coming on the 20th of October. Haven't got an exact date for End of God yet, but it's probably going to be November as well. Now, you can there's no cover art up yet or anything, but you can pre-order these from Audible or wherever it is you get your audiobooks from. So do get in there nice and early. Fantastic. Right. Okay. Back to the show and our special guest, Ivy Ngeow. Ivy, hello. Right, we're going to go through our regular questions now, which I ask all of our guests. So, what small thing has made a big difference to your creative process?
Writing by hand. I noticed that you do it too, because I've watched you write in your notebook.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
is it? Why do you do it? Why? What works for you about that?
It's like drawing for me. Writing is like drawing, so it helps get ideas down really fast without switching on anything. Like it's completely instant. I don't use my phone to write notes or to dictate. I prefer to write by hand, if I have my fountain pen, then I will use my fountain pen. Otherwise, I have another special pen that is like a fake fountain pen. It comes out looking like fountain pen ink, but it's not a fountain pen. It's completely plastic. Um, yeah. So, and I think that the way the ink flows, and I'm not the first person to say this, so this is not an original thought. People say that the way the ink flows is directly connected to how your mind works.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. That's what works for me. Yeah.
So when
Brilliant.
you're stuck, you can, you have to write by hand. Like if I'm stuck, I write the whole scene out. In fact, sometimes I even copy. I copy out what I've typewritten. And then,
Right.
oh my God, I see all the errors. So redoing something by hand is also a work, also works for me.
That's fascinating because I'm working on a second draft at the moment, and I've gone back and rewritten certain bits as well. And it's just it helps just get you back into the groove of that moment, but also just helps you, like you say, spot the errors, spot the things that don't quite work, so you can actually fix them.
Mm. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ivy. Next question. What's the thing that makes you think you're ready to start writing on a project? Now, you mentioned the sort of the architectural
Mm.
foundations earlier, but what's the thing that you think, okay, I know I can start?
I think when you can't stop thinking about it, that to me means that you're ready, you're excited, it's waiting to be born. It
Right.
feels like you've carried it full term in your mind. And sometimes it could take years. Sometimes it's probably a few hours or a few days. That's possible too. Like if you can't stop thinking about it, but if you can, that means it's rubbish. Like if you can stop thinking about it, it goes away. Then it's probably rubbish.
Right. Good, good, good. Excellent.
Yeah.
And conversely, how do you know when you're done? How do you know when your house is built?
I think when you're sick of it, because obviously it's never done, right? Nothing is
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
You can fiddle around forever. So I think when you're sick of it, then it's over. Yeah.
Excellent.
And you know
How,
by when you play musical instruments, like because I know you play guitar, you know
mm,
how when you learn a new song, by the time you're sick of it, means you know the song, isn't it? I mean,
yes.
you're
Yeah,
not.
I've got to that part. I've been learning Blackbird on the guitar, and I think everyone's sick of that, aren't you? Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I did that with my daughter. I did Blackbird.
How do you remember that idea that you have at 3 in the morning? So you're not taking notes on your phone. If you get inspiration at an inopportune time, how are you remembering that?
Probably not at 3 a.m. because I sleep like the dead. So I don't know what's happening at 3 a.m. Um, like if I get an idea on a bus or somewhere where I can't write it down or where there's no way I can record it, I let it go. I'm not one of those who's going to jump out of the shower and get a notebook and then start dictating and all that nonsense. No, because usually it's rubbish. Like when you look at it, you think, what? I thought that was good. So no, I let it go because if it's good, it will come back for you.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
can't think about
that's
it. You can't stop thinking about it.
that's a fair point. How often do you think of the reader, or do you think of the reader at all while you're writing?
Oh, I don't think of the reader. Yeah, I just let the characters carry me because as you know how hard it is to sustain an unreal world in the first
Yeah,
place. Imagine
right.
you keep on bringing back real people into your story, and I think it will ruin that whole process. It's like when you're designing, right? When you're really busy designing a room or a creative artwork, uh, if the client keeps coming back to say, but what I meant was, you really need to get me 4 more quotes for whatever this loo or whatever that they wanted, right? And you're thinking, what? No, let me finish first. You know, and that's what clients do to you, and they will drive you nuts. So at the end, they will love it. They absolutely love what you've done because they will not allowed to interrupt your creative process.
That is a great answer. I love that answer. Brilliant. Um, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made in your writing career?
Crowdfunding.
What was that for? Tell us more.
That was for Heart of Glass. And
Right.
hang on a minute. Oh yeah, that's it there. That's a
Yeah.
new cover. I have got rid of the crowdfunding cover.
Right.
Yeah, I I I think that as creative professionals. Oh yes, your live stream is called Creative Differences. I love that because it it's what makes us different, right? Creativity,
Hmm.
and we
Yeah.
can't have the tip of a marketing drill boring into our skull every 6 minutes. You can't do that. It is
Yeah.
the antithesis of creating. I am not joking. So
Hmm.
I think I was paralyzed by crowdfunding.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a slog. I've done it myself. I did it with the End of Magic first time round, and it's weirdly I am thinking of dipping a toe into it again. I'm thinking of doing a Kickstarter or something in the near future, and I may come to regret it.
but
But yeah, it
everybody's
is.
different. I
Mm,
really don't think it's destructive on a lot of people. Everybody's different, right? We all do
mm,
different things. I mean, I do write copy. I Copywriting is also the antithesis of creative writing. But then
mm.
I don't I find that it's to me it's creative. So for
Yeah.
you, crowdfunding is might be creative, it might be inventive and innovative. So it's not a negative thing. And I
Hmm.
don't want your listeners to think that I'm negative about Kickstarters or crowdfunding. I found other people. I support,
Yeah.
whatever it is that their projects. Because they're just projects, right? You got to not
Yeah.
be part of it in that way, in the personal and painful and physical way. So that's where I'm weak, and I see them as I see my products as my kids. I
Brilliant.
can't, yeah.
Fantastic. Folks, get ready with any questions that you have for Ivy. We'll be able to ask her those in a moment. Ivy, what's the best happy accident of your writing career?
Okay, I don't have any happy accidents. I'm either happy or it's an accident.
Again, some of the best answers we've had. I do enjoy that. Is, is there a character or a story swirling around in your mind that you want to write, but you're not ready to write yet?
I have yeah, I have a couple right now who are bugging me. So one is called Clara. I don't know why, but it's 1953, and this woman called Clara has inherited sort of an inn, a ruin that she has to do up. So one night, a stranger arrives with a dog, and she finds the dog very familiar. She doesn't know why, but the dog knows everything about the house, and seems to, and the stranger is also very mysterious, and they both seem to have been there before, but she can't think why. So for this character, I'm not sure yet whether it's going to be some kind of spooky. It sounds like it, doesn't it? It sounds a bit spooky already.
Mm.
So I don't know whether it's going to be some kind of horror suspense or thriller or literary kind of literary fiction.
You
Uh,
mentioned earlier that there are some ideas that they hang around, they linger, and you know that those are the good ones. How long has that one been swirling around in your mind?
that has been quite long. That has been 6 months. Uh,
Right.
yeah, and then the more recent one is this guy. He's an evil doctor, but he's actually good. He's good. So he's another decant. So he's evil doctor, but he's good. And he's failed his father, who is a neurosurgeon. He didn't become a neurosurgeon. Instead, he's a cosmetic surgeon. So yeah, so he has to make his peace because he has a poor relationship with his dad, whom he has disappointed. So with this one, I have to think about the genre. I'm not sure whether it's going to be satirical, like kind of a dark satire, or a comedy, or some like, yeah, that kind of suspense.
That's brilliant. When you're as these projects are simmering, how
Mhm.
much are you considering the genre? Because you're saying that it could be this genre, it could be that
Mm.
genre. Now, obviously, you've become established in the thriller genre. Certainly, when working with Penguin.
Mhm.
Uh, how much flexibility do you feel you have to move from one genre to another like that?
Uh, I'm not that confident because, for example, I have never written horror or horror comedy or suspense. And I think we talked about this as well 3 years ago with the American Boyfriend, because I felt that
Mm,
as I carry on writing, I was further away from literary fiction and into thrillers. It came naturally and organically. I didn't go,
mm,
oh, I really must write a thriller. I know all the beats. I've got to write a thriller. I didn't. It didn't come like that, and it came after I started reading a lot of books, which sort of a bit thrillerish. I mean, Great Expectations. We come back to Dickens again. Is
yeah.
full of suspense, horror, even.
Mm,
The Bride. Okay,
mm,
Miss Havisham. So it's got a bit of everything that's a little bit, I would say, uh, that a little bit like full of intrigue.
mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
that's the kind of thing that I'm probably trying to do, like with my fiction. So if it has to be creepy, then okay, I will go with it, because when I write, I'm doing it for fun. I know we forgot about that, right? We forgot fun. It's like we do all this stuff for writing, for publishing, and you're thinking, hang on a minute, if it's not fun, I don't want to do it. That's what I
Yeah,
don't want to do, crowdfunding, and I don't want to do like things that are not fun. So
yeah,
um you see what I'm saying? So when I get taken over by the genre, then I must run with it. Let's say I get, because I know you write fantasy, right?
mm-hmm,
Folk fantasy. So if that comes to me and I get the characters who are that genre, I will follow them, because I'd rather follow my characters and I'm having fun than to stick with, oh, I know all the beats. I've got to write, thrillers. I've got to write murder mysteries, or cozy, whatever, crime. I no, I I don't want like that.
that's a great answer. I love that. Brilliant. Emily, do you have any questions from the good folk joining us this evening? Oh, question from Dawn Keat. If you could be one of your characters for 24 hours, who would it be and why? And then would you jump genres to horror? Well, we've just talked about genre, but if you could be one of your... Yes, Dawn says, no way, she already answered one of my questions. So, yeah, if you could be one of your characters for 24 hours, which one would it be?
I would be the I think I would be the single mom Phoebe from The American Boyfriend. Why? Because she has a lot of fun. And her
Right.
mom is there to help her babysit all the time while she's having fun, you know, working as a designer, living in London. So she has a pretty good life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Gavin says Ivy's answers are so brilliantly succinct and quotable. Yeah, there's going to be
Oh,
we're going
thanks
to
so
have a lot of clip.
much.
We're going to have a lot of clips from this episode, aren't we? Yeah, fantastic. Okay. Any other questions? Ragnar's joining us. How is your view on a good villain, like a character that's presented as a villain, but from their top perspective is for the greater good? I mean, you were talking earlier about he's a good doctor, he's an evil doctor. I mean, these are obviously very broad brushstrokes terms, but yeah, talk about your villains. I mean, they have to be humans, don't they?
Yeah. So villains which are humans. Yeah, my stories are steeped in realism. So yes, they're humans. Uh, a good villain is somebody that we love. You know, they are bad, okay, but they're good, like the that doctor.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also they're very smart, because who likes a dumb villain? Who? I mean, who? No, nobody. They've got to be smart, because that's what readers, that's the kind of character that readers will plumb for.
Yeah, yeah,
And they won't be laughing at a dumb villain. They want to follow somebody smart. They want to know why their morals can bend. For example, the talented Mr. Ripley. We love him because he's smart.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it because we might secretly want to be them as well? Because the thing with Ripley is he does things that we kind of think, oh, I wish I could get away with that, you know?
I think that we want to be him because he's traveling the world and like having a really, shit hot time and destroying art and like killing people and stuff. So that sounds fun. I mean, that sounds like a movie, right? It's like a movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's one of my favourite sections of the show. What's bringing you joy at the moment, Ivy? It could be books, movies, TV shows, music, games. Now, you said to me anything analog, and you mentioned your musicianship earlier. So tell us about that.
So I was a professional musician. And in the 90s, I was in bands, or in the noughties as well. And I always played from ear. I'm a grade 8 trained pianist, but I started playing by ear at about, I suppose, age 5. And I thought that everybody did it. I thought everybody saw a piano and knew what to do. It was a weird thing. And when I finished like A levels, I was very keen to carry on being a musician. But in my time, I don't know whether it's the same as your time, maybe, there was only classical music. I could only go into classical music education. So
Right.
I decided to choose architecture, which is a bit like music anyway, because it's creative, but it's also technical.
Yeah.
Technical is what gets me going. So being, even now, I return to it all the time. I return to acoustic instruments.
Do you find do you find that it complements your writing in a way? Because if I've had a long day of it, I will pick up the guitar and just strum and everything, and it seems to exercise a different part of the mind. Does that work for you, or is it if you have that architectural kind of mind, is that how you're learning scales and the structure of songs and stuff like that? How does that work for you?
They're very similar. I mean, Mark, you're spot on. I think all these three are related: writing, architecture, music. They are all the same thing. I hate saying that. It's very cliched, because that's what people say. It's true. They say it because it's true. It's the same thing. They are all, technical and creative forms of expression. And that's why this live stream is perfect, because it's about creative differences. They are different, but they are the same.
Yeah. Fantastic. And what are you reading at the moment as well?
I'm reading Anne Patchett's The Dutch House. I'm really enjoying it. It's very good. It's about these kids who grew up with a stepmother that got the house basically, and it's like huge mansion. And the dad just dropped dead, like of heart attack. So he already put the stepmother into the will. So it's a bit like Cinderella, so that the kids had to go and grow up, fend for themselves. And his only wish for the son, who is the narrator, is in first person, was to become a doctor. But the son absolutely hated medicine. He did it anyway because he has to fulfill the dad's wish. And the dad dropped dead and he didn't inherit anything.
Yeah. It occurs to me there as well, there is a similarity to In Safe Hands, in that you've got a usurper in the house. You've got someone who's, taken something away from them, or inveigled their way into people's lives. So is this a recurring theme? Is this something you keep coming back to?
I think all conflicts have to have a usurper. So because if you don't have that, then where is the power struggle coming from? Yeah. Somebody's got to make us feel very anxious and irritable, right? So, and that's the usurper. You want to turn the page and go, what? No, I can't believe she did that. She got the house.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you want to make people mad about something that we probably experience it all the time in real life, and that's why it bugs us. It's a theme that bugs us in fiction because we lose a job to somebody, we
Yeah.
lose a
Yeah.
prize
Yeah.
to somebody, and
Yeah.
and so I think that's natural conflict.
Brilliant. I love it. Right, things that are bringing me joy at the moment. I've just finished Joe Abercrombie's The Devils. Now, I've been a big fan of Joe. We published him at Gollancz when I was working there. I think Joe would be a far richer man if he just kept knocking out first law fantasy novels. But to his credit, he's resisted that and he's launched the Shattered Sea YA trilogy, the Age of Madness trilogy, and now The Devils. And I absolutely love this. It's one of these where this the first half is kind of absolute chaos. It's almost it's bedlam. It's almost coming off the rails, but the ending is so satisfying. It really wraps things up brilliantly. And the film rights have been snapped up by someone called James Cameron. I wonder what happened. What you heard of him? No, never. Another thing, I don't know if this has given me joy as such, but this is the audio book called "Burn It Down" by Maureen Ryan. This is all about the bullying, the racism, the sexism in Hollywood. But it's compelling stuff, and it does sort of confirm that well-meaning white people are kind of the worst and make more problems than they actually solve. And I've just taken delivery of this excellent book, I Shoot Rock Stars by Tim Pope. Now, Tim was one of the most prolific music video directors of the MTV era. He's done dozens of videos for The Cure, Soft Cell, Mark Coleman, Susie and the Banshees, The Bowie, Neil Young, Wham. And what's fun is at every chapter he puts a little QR code because so you can go and watch the videos that he's been talking about, which is it's like he knows it, the sort of thing I'll be doing while I'm reading the book. So I absolutely love that. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Creative Differences. You're going to find all the links we discussed and show notes and things for the episode's webpage. Huge thanks to Emily for production assistance, to Kai for the edit. Now, next month, very special guest, Tuesday, 22nd of September, Poppy T. Perry. Poppy is an artist, a teacher, and the author of the amazing Dead Real, which I've got here, in which Nora wants to tell her best friend and horror fan Ruby that she's in love with her, but there's the small matter of the town being overrun by flesh-eating zombies. This is brilliant stuff. It's Heartstopper meets Shaun of the Dead. Poppy is just simply one of the most delightful and talented people I've had the pleasure of meeting. She's an artist. She's just fantastic. So if you want some of that, join us on Tuesday. I put the wrong date there. Tuesday, 22nd. Is that the 22nd of September? We might have to change this in the edit. Emily, mark that in the thing. Bum, bum, bum. This is why we do this live. Let's have a look. Tuesday, 22nd of September. Ignore the number up there. I will fix that and send you a proper thing for that. Tuesday, 22nd. Burn it into your minds. Been a busy afternoon. So, back to our guest, Ivy. Ivy, thank you so much for joining us today. Let's have a look. We got a question from Dawn here. Dawn Keats says, has a book ever made you cry? That's a lovely question to end on.
I would say only once, and it was an Enid Blyton book. So I was a child when I cried and read. It was when I was a child, and it was one of the Mallory Towers. I can't remember one of those that series. Yeah, I remember writing. I wrote to England to Mallory Towers. I love your school. Yeah, I had no idea, and I told my mom to post it, and I guess she had no heart to break it to me. So she said, "Yeah, I posted your letter to Mallory Towers." Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. Because we spoke about this. We spoke about this last time. Because you grew up in a house full of books, didn't you? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, that's right. We moved into this house in 1979, and it's a really old. I mean, the house is 1949, so it's mid-century, and it was very it was very huge, with a huge garden, and inside the original owners had dumped all their books, and it was floor to ceiling rooms, floor to ceiling of books. And I thought that's part of the building. I thought this is it. You buy the building and it comes with books. So so just and then I just started reading them all, because this is the old days, right? Since we have no games, phones, internet, whatever it is that we are doing nowadays to stop us reading. Well, then they could not, because nothing is there to stop you reading. So
Yeah.
I read every book from cover to cover, top to bottom, and mostly they were really boring, like law manuals and stuff, like, and rules of whatever, historical stuff, and rules of games and things. It's really boring. And there were all these biology books and stuff. So I thought that this is what you do. And when I'm done with them, my mom got me a library card, so that I could get even more books.
Like Mallory Towers.
Like Mallory Towers. Yeah, I had the series.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Ivy. It's been an absolute joy talking to you today. Folks, In Safe Hands, out now. Treat yourself. It's a wonderful read, as is all of Ivy's work there. Again, last time we were talking, it was about The American Boyfriend. It's terrific stuff. Ivy, thank you so much for this. Really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who joined us this evening. Thank you. And until next time, happy writing, reading, and being different. Let's play that jingle one more time.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Ivy. Take care. See you soon, folks. Have a lovely evening.